Hi everyone, John here again. It's just the other day I did a video on Fill Flash, and when I'd come in, it was a very cloudy, overcast day, and when I come in I noticed that a fair few of my images were soft. So I thought maybe I had a problem with my 70-300. So I went out this morning and did a bit of further testing. Now I've already reviewed the 70-300 and showed you a couple of pictures, but I was using Adobe Premiere Pro and I couldn't really show you them at a decent resolution. Now I'm using ScreenFlow. So I've took some this morning and found out there's nothing wrong with the lens. It's just a couple of little mistakes that I'd probably made myself by just rushing and doing the DVD, but I thought I'd share them with you as well and show you a few more pictures. Now the pictures I'm going to show you have been tweaked slightly in Lightroom. I think I tweaked the exposure and sharpened them up a little bit and stuff like that, but not very much from a raw file. So what we're going to do is I'm going to turn the lights out in Lightroom. Oops, no, I'm not going to zoom in. We're going to turn the lights out by pressing the L key. Now, well, I'll turn them down just to dim them. Now, this was shot at 70mm at f4. I should better zoom in as well. Well, let's try, can we? Click instead. So that was shot at 70mm at f4, and hopefully you'll be able to see a bit of detail in YouTube. It has had a bit of sharpening. I think it's 45 and a bit of clarity added on, because it was a raw file, but not a great deal. This was shot at let me take a look. Turn the lights out, on. At f5.6. Now if I zoom in and look at the f4 and the f5.6, I don't know about you lot, but there is a slight difference, but not a great deal. Then this one will be an f8. Then we are at, let's take a look. Right 104mm at f4.5, 5.6, and then f8. Now what I'll do is, can I compare here now? We should be able to compare, and we'll zoom. Can we? Oh yeah. So the left one's a 4.5. The right one's a 5.6. So that, I don't know whether you can see that, but the 5.6 is quite a bit clearer than these were tripoded as well with VC off. So let's move across to the f8. Once it loads, it's still loading. I know it looks a bit blurred now, but it should clear up in a minute. Yeah, the f8 is slightly, I don't know, you're really struggling to see the difference. There's a bit of a difference, but not, oh no, not a great deal of difference. So we're now going to go, just turn the lights back on. We'll now go to 141mm, so we've got a f4.5, 5.6 and an 8, right? So we'll turn the lights down a bit. So we've got a 4.5, a 5.6 and an f8. So maybe we can zoom in a bit. I focused on the nose here. Come on Lightroom. See, that's quite sharp, and then you've got your 5.6. Come on, oh the 5, yeah, at that, what's that, 150mm, it's definitely an improvement at 5.6. And then, oh, f8's even better. To be honest, this lens optimum performance is 5.6 f8 through all the focal range. But between 1700mm f4 and f4.5 and that is pretty sharp, but it starts to lose it, especially on my cameras above about 100mm, 110mm, you start to need 5.6 and an f8, but bearing in mind that it's on a crop sensor camera, so that it's actually a lot further than that. So what I tend to do, what I've figured out after this morning's, I've really intensely, let me just turn the lights back on. So we're at 209mm now, so we've got a 5, I've only decided to do a 5 and an f8 on this. So let's zoom in. So as you can see at 209mm at f5, that's a bit soft, even with some sharpening added. It's acceptable. and you'd use it, but if you know your lens and you know how it's working, you know what you can get away with. I'm just going to drag this central once it loads in. Yeah, there's a big difference there. If you look at, I don't know if it's showing on YouTube, but if you look around here, you can definitely see, well, there ain't a big difference, but there is a visible difference. So really, when you get it above 200mm, 150, 170mm on a crop frame sensor anyway, which should be 300mm on a normally, because obviously you've got a crop sensor, and I don't know if you, well, you will know this, that say that Tamron 70 to 300 lens on my camera is something like, it's actually 480mm, not 300. So when you get it above 160mm or something like that, you want to be making sure that your aperture's around 5-6 minimum. You can't go under anyway, to be honest, because it won't let you, but you want to be around f8 if possible. But the softness can help in a portrait and stuff like that, but I try to keep the lens around, so let me just have a look at this one. I know we've zoomed in a bit now. That's saying 3mm, but it's not, it's around 250. Let me just turn on, we've got a 5.6 and an f8. Right, so let's see if we can see anything with these 5.6s and f8. We'll just look there. I can't really see out there, so what we'll do is we'll zoom into the schnozzle. So there's your 5.6. See, I can see that that's soft. It's acceptable, but it is definitely soft. What? We're going to bring this f8 down then, aren't we? Oh, yeah. Again, the f8, I don't know if you can see it, but you should do on 1080p. Definitely the f8's come to life. So definitely when you start to get above that 200mm range, you definitely want to be around f8 if you can for optimum performance. I'm not saying you can never use 5.6, so don't. So what? This is 300mm now, 5.6 and f8, right? 300mm, 5.6 and f8. Let's turn the lights down. In fact, I'll turn them fully down. See, again, 5.6 is pretty darn soft. I'd stay away from it, especially for a portrait. Anyway, I won't even be at 300mm anyway. But watch f8. If I remember correctly, f8 sharpens up quite nicely. Yeah, there you go. I don't know if you can see it, but let me just so there's your 5.6 and there's your f8. Can you see the difference? I'm hoping you can. There's definitely a difference anyway. Let's go to the 5. Try and press compare. The left one is the 5.6, the right one is the f8. I don't know if you're really going to see it there, to be honest. I can see it anyway. I don't know whether you guys will, but definitely sharper when it gets above 200mm at f8. What am I doing here? I'm just trying to... I'll just show you a couple of different examples. This is 70mm at f4, 5.6 and f8. So let's zoom in, lights down. I'll focus around here, somewhere around here. So we've got an f4 there, 5.6. That's definitely clearer, even at 70mm. So, like I've said, 5.6 and f8 are superb. f4's usable, there's no wrong with it. But, you know, if you can go to 5.6, it is definitely better. There's your 5.6 and f8. f8 under about 150mm, you don't notice a great deal, but when you start to go above 200mm, you definitely see a difference on f8. Oops. Let's go and have a look what these are. These are 100mm now, 4.5. I don't know what's going on here, let me zoom out. 4.5. How can that happen? I'm confused, it's moving up and down. Alright, we'll go 104mm, we'll do a 5.6 and an f8. So there's 109. Sorry, 104mm, 5.6 and f8. See, there's hard to tell difference there. There is a difference. Don't know if you guys will see it, but it's not. You're really struggling to see it. Oh no, you're not. You can actually see it. No, I'll tell you a lie. You can see that effort, but there's 5.6 is 105mm. Any aperture's really good. Bearing in mind that's probably about 150mm on a full frame. So we'll go to the next, which is 140mm. I don't really take it above 140mm or 150mm when you're doing portraits. There's no need. About 130mm is about 200mm on a full frame. So when you see all these reviews on posh cameras when they're using the 70 to 200 on a full frame, and it's a good portrait lens, you don't really need to go above 140, 150mm on your lens. I'm not saying you can't, but you don't really need to do it. And if you stay away around 150mm and you can use between 5.6 and f8 or even 4, you're going to get really good performance out of this lens for a portrait. Now I'm not saying I wouldn't use 300mm. I would if I couldn't get in close and I had to do it. I would, and I'd shoot it at 5.6 even though it were a bit soft. At the end of the day, you use the tools at hand, what you've got to use when you go there. But if you know these little tips, how your lens performs, then you can probably get better performance from it instead of just selling it. Like I could sell this and go, oh, it ain't optimum performance at 5.6 at 300mm, I'm going to get rid of it and I'm going to get an L lens and I'm going to do this. There's no need. If I know how my lens works, I know where I can go, where I can't go, where's best to go, and that's why I'm doing this video again to help you lads. Guys and girls, should I say. It's 141mm anyway, so we've got a 4.5, 5.6 and an f8. I don't know why it's moved a bit like that. I've not got a clue. So we'll just do a 5.6 and an f8, which you can see is sharp enough. And we'll go to f8. I don't know if you can see it. The f8 is definitely sharper, but it's marginal. It's not a great deal, but it is better. Right, we're at 209mm now. We've got a 5, a 5.6 and an f8. So let's zoom in. So this is 209mm. This is probably about 300mm. Really. Now can you see the softness? It's definitely just turn the lights down a shit. Make contact. That's definitely soft at 5. It'd do as a portrait, but and let's try 5.6. Now this should come a little bit better. So you've got your 4. Your 5.6. Now the 8 should definitely shine now. There you go. Let me just go back and try compare. The left is the 4, the right is the left is the 5, the right is the 5.6. Yep, I can see that. It's very marginal, but now let's go to the f8 and let it load in. It takes a couple of seconds to load in. And I don't know how that looks on YouTube, but you can definitely see there is a difference there. Let's take the zoom off, turn the lights off. Oops, calm down, jump. Right, so that's at 209mm. And the f8 was definitely took it. Right, this is 250mm. We've got a 5.6, an 8, and a 16. Oh, we'll do the 16 here then. 16s you'll see in a minute. So this is 250mm. 5.6 isn't actually bad there. It's saying 3mm, but it's not. It's actually 250. 5.6 quite good there, actually. Come on, loading. 5.6. f8. Definitely f8 slightly better. So that's not bad at 250mm. If you can shoot at f8, f5.6, f8, it's quite good. Right, let's try f16. Now I didn't like f16 at all when I was looking back on the previews. Yeah, f16's not. It's actually softer. So stay away from f16. I've noticed anything above f9 is not worth using. So we've got a 300mm now. This is a good test. This is the maxed out. This is about 470mm on my camera. And you can see that's pretty soft. Now we're going to go to an f8. It should be quite a bit better here now. Just turn the lights down. Yeah, definitely. I don't know how it's showing on the video, but if you look at these grapes and stuff here, there's definitely more detail in the picture. So get it up to above 250mm, you definitely want to be around f8 if you can, for optimum performance. Oh, we've got an f16 here, I didn't see that one. We'll try that at 300mm. So lights down. We've got us, oops, we've got us, let me try that. That's 300mm f8. Let's try 300mm f16. Do you know what? 300mm f16 shines. It really does. 300mm use f16. It didn't half make a difference. Mind you, bearing in mind, sometimes you've got to remember, I've done this review on these, and I did have it steadily tripoded, but sometimes your camera can miss focus. Do you know what I mean? So, but f16 pretty sharp there at 300mm. These are just some handheld shots I did. I can zoom in if you want. These are all handheld. These are last handheld ones, I'll just zoom in. 109mm at 5.6. Then we've got 141mm at 5.6. See, quite sharp. F8 would have been better though, but I didn't want to go above, and I'm only at a slow shutter speed. These are handheld 100 of a second, which is quite slow. Same shutter speed there. Look at that. Then we've got a 218mm at 5.6 at 1/250 of a second. That's quite sharp actually. It could be sharp though. F8 would have been better, but 5.6 is usable. And then we've got the last shot, which is at 300mm at f8, knowing that I was going to use f8. f16 would have probably been better. I could have doubled my ISO to 1600 and gone to f16. But let's have a look at f8. It's acceptable. f16 would have been slightly better, but it's acceptable. Anyway, I hope this... The reason why I've made this little video was because I thought that I was getting a couple of soft images off my 70-300, and it turned out actually to be me that was actually... Because when you zoom into 200mm with a lens, I'd actually were moving my focus point round on my 50D, and I don't know, I don't really like doing it. I only like doing it on my low light lenses like my 1.4 and to f2. Otherwise I think focus and recompose, my camera personally seems to do a better job. Now on any of these I didn't really focus and recompose, I just used the centre focus point on every shot. What I would say is watch out for your shutter speed. I mean, I was shooting yesterday I think at 3/20th of a second at 200mm or something, and I got a fair lot of out of focus images still, even with VC on, because 200mm is something like 300mm on a full frame, so ideally I should have had my shutter speed up a little bit quicker. But what I'm trying to say is make sure you keep your shutter speed up even with VC on. I know sometimes if you're shooting around 70 to 100mm, I can shoot at really slow shutter speeds, but when you're zooming in, make sure that your shutter speed is equivalent to your focal length at least. So if you're at 200mm, make sure you've got at least 1/200 of a second on your shutter speed, even though you've got VC on. Now, if you can turn VC off, these was all actually with VC off, apart from the last 3 or 4 images which I showed you, which was quite sharp and held at 1/250 of a second. That actually broke a load of rules, did those last couple of shots. But bearing in mind, keep your shutter speed equivalent to your focal length with VC on, and this lens really does perform fantastic. Between 70 and 120mm you can get away with f4.5, f4. Once you start going above 140mm, 150mm, you want to make sure you stay around 5.6, 6.3. Once you get above 200mm you want to be at f8 if you want the optimum performance. I mean, obviously you can still shoot it at 5.6 at 300mm, but it's going to be slightly soft, and you'll have to apply a little bit more sharpening to sharpen it up. If you can, I'd bump your ISO up a bit, knowing you're going above 150, 160mm. I'd bump your ISO up a bit and go for f8 instead, because there is quite a lot of difference between f5.6 and f8 above 150mm. For a portrait lens, my recommendations to you guys on a crop frame sensor camera, D7000, D700, 550D, 60D, 40D, T3i, T2i, 600D. I would recommend, look at your lens. Don't go above 150mm, I'd say around 135mm, and then knock your aperture to a 5.6 or an f8. And to zoom, I'd walk backwards and forwards instead, because you know that your lens is going to shine at those focal lengths. You're not going to get home and go, oh, that's soft, like I did. I mean, I've just been using it for alt focal lengths up to 300mm, but you know what I mean, you're going to come away with a lot of soft images if you start, especially for portraits. I mean, if you're shooting this bottle like I was shooting here, I could have just whacked a load of sharpening on it and really sharpened it up, and you probably wouldn't tell the difference. But when you're doing a portrait, the eyes matter, and that's what you want sharpened. You can't go on applying a load of sharpening to it, or you're going to introduce a lot of noise and you're going to see it. John at JJB Photography, thanks very much for watching. Please leave a comment. Cheers.